Okay, we are live, and okay, so barring any technical difficulties with sound, this is Warrior Woman 91, and I'm very excited to have everybody here for the very first all-female live stream. My guests here today are Amanda and Pardes from the Daily Wire, and our newest guest, Anna White, and I'm very excited to have her here. And so a quick audience note, please send all death threats, memes, and marriage proposals to the comment section because I don't want to read them, and I never read the comment section, so please send them there. And any questions you may have, please send to my Twitter account at WarriorWoman91 and only at WarriorWoman91. So we have lots of stuff to talk about today, so let's jump right in. And obviously this is our all-girls episode, and I have banned all men from being guests on this episode. So you should all be very excited, and we are going to use the hashtag patriarchy to make all the male population feel better. So when you are tweeting and commenting, use the hashtag patriarchy, and that will make everything, it'll smooth everything over with all the hurt feelings that I've inflicted upon my other guests. So with that lead in, let's talk about the topic that turns men into pseudo-women and women into harlots with blue armpit hair. That is feminism. So Amanda, could you redefine what third-wave feminism is for our audience to bring them up to speed?
Yeah, so feminism is no longer, they're under this pretense about equality between men and women. That's not what it is anymore. It's just basically progressivism. We have women searching for victimhood, so they create phony victimhood and they use that to push progressivism. That's basically all it is. So if you let this ideology come through, anything can trigger a feminist. You can ask them, or you tell them they look nice, and they'll just spiral out of control. It doesn't really matter. So feminism now is just a progressive push. We feel like an anti-feminist, anti-man for sure. There's nothing about equality anymore since there's no legislative or any barriers to women at all anymore. They're actually exceeding men in some areas in education, and for instance, female CEOs make more than their male counterparts. So they're just creating victimhood, perpetuating that to keep women down, essentially. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So what is the end game that feminists are seeking? What kind of goals are they trying to reach?
So because it's just progressivism, it's basically any goals that leftists have. So kind of like there's no gender. It's kind of like there's no distinction. There's sameness. So there are no differences between men and women. That's why feminists embrace transgenderism, which runs counter to feminism. So men and women, a man can be a woman. There's no difference. So it's just sameness. That's kind of the end goal. Shut it down, break it down, sameness, no traditional values. Just progressivism. That's pretty much the same end goal.
Kind of homogeny. It almost sounds like the same thing as communism, shared misery. It's everything is equal. There's no differences between men and women, kind of thing. So, Anna, could you weigh in on that? What do you think the purpose of modern-day feminism is?
Yeah, I agree with the homogeny. Right now, it seems like feminists are not wanting to promote, like, feminists, we have the right to vote now as women. We are represented in society. And now it seems like they're wanting to get extra rights based off, like, constitutionally, men and women are have the same representation under the law. Now it seems like it's victimhood ideology where they feel like society is wrong to them, and they feel like they need to, smash the patriarchy is a term that a lot of feminists use. So the goal now is, I think a lot of the ideology of feminism is wanting to have society's acceptance of immoral behavior, or especially sexually promiscuous behavior, or just they want society to accept things that we know are not healthy and things that we know do not promote female like health and mental health as well, because statistics show that, you know, monogamy for women is very beneficial, and feminists just do not listen to the science and the what we know about female sexuality and how we operate and think as women.
So, Pardes, why is feminism so antagonistic to men and traditional male-female roles in society?
I think feminism, third wave feminism, comes off as very men because as opposed to like second wave, first wave feminism, it's a counter equality movement, in my opinion. So it doesn't believe in equality. It believes in justice through sameness. So if you're the same as everybody else, then you can be equal. There's no such thing as being equal and different. So I think that's why there's a certain paradox of like, oh, well, we're, you know, men and women are all the same within the spectrum, and we're all one gender. But at the same time, there's still the struggle for a feminist movement to try and gain traction, to a feminist trying to get extra rights over men. So I think because it lost its nature as an equality movement and more of a sameness movement, trying to be like men, that's why it became a little bit of an antagonistic movement. Thank you. Sorry, I just got interrupted. Yeah, so yeah, that's my thoughts on third wave feminism.
Okay, so let's move on to the abortion topic, because that is seen as one of the most foundational issues, if not the foundational issue, of modern third wave feminism. Feminists and leftists in general have been completely unwilling to even allow for basic health restrictions to be placed on abortion clinics, for example. It's very much a be-all, you have to have it to the extreme, the very most extreme form of, you know, backroom abortion, whatever. They always use the excuse or the argument, well, if abortion isn't legalized, then women will be getting back alley abortions, and it'll be completely horrible, and they won't have, you know, the right to go and be have this procedure done in a clean environment. And that's exactly what is happening and what they're advocating, even with legalized abortion, if you look at the case of Kermit Gosnell. So I wanted Anna to talk about the kinds of unhealthy practices that take place in abortion clinics, and why do you think that these go unchallenged by the feminist movement? Yeah, turn your audio on. Yeah.
Amanda or Anna?
Anna, sorry.
Okay. Are you guys hearing that too?
Yeah, we're hearing it, but
really bad. Really bad. Yeah, I hear it.
Should I go get headphones?
Do you have the video playing in the background on top of doing the Hangout?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, if you want to try headphones, that might work.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe someone else can go real quick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's have Anna, or let's have Amanda do that one.
Okay. So abortion, correct? So repeat that question. Sorry.
The question was, why is it that? Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
okay.
why did the abortion clinic, like just basic things like having a clean room, you know, to operate in, those things, it seems like feminists don't even care about basic things like that.
Right, because it's not about women. It's really just morphed into abortion on demand. That for some reason, abortion on demand is like synonymous with like female empowerment to feminists. So like killing unborn babies is like a passive right, like a sacrament to be feminist. So you know, these restrictions that would, let's say you're supportive of abortion, and then so you want to restrict things that are unhealthy or unsafe for women in the abortion clinic, that's not even acceptable as a feminist. Like, you have to be for abortion on demand. It doesn't matter if they're unsafe or if they're things really that's unhealthy for women. That doesn't matter. It's abortion on demand. There is no safe, legal, and rare. It's all about on demand. If they could have these through drive-thrus, they would. Like, it's all about abortion. Some research anonymous with empowerment. They do not care about women whatsoever. If they did, they would look at the research here. Most women become depressed, suffer depression after this. They give us an even factors later. A lot of people come away with physical ailments from abortion. Women can have children after it, especially later on. But that doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. I know Pardes can especially speak to the medical aspects of it, but none of that matters at all. It's a sacrament now. It is the sacrament of the feminism.
Yeah, I frequently read lifenews.org, or no, it's liveactionnews.org, and the horrific stories of the women who have gone in and had abortions or had the partial birth abortion, where they're basically laying in their hotel room dying, bleeding out, and they're on the phone with 911 or with Planned Parenthood, and they're not doing anything. They're just letting this happen. So it's not really about, as you said, it's not about female empowerment. It's about the act of abortion in itself being the sacrament. So I'm just, I guess, agreeing with you 100%.
Yeah, no, and it's also keeping women in the dark. Like, this is, monetarily motivated. So parents, they're fighting against, basic pro-life legislation, which we just tell a baby a woman an ultrasound of her baby. Why would that ever be denied? Why is it denied? Like, there is no reason behind it other than you want to keep them in the dark and you want to make money off of them, and that's part of it. There's this monetary push as well. They donate tons of money to campaigns. They've donated $20 million, I believe, to Hillary Clinton. They endorsed her in the primary, which is unprecedented for Planned Parenthood. I mean, it's a money-making machine as well. And that funds and leftism in general.
Yeah. If there were no financial incentive, there would be a lot less people in these movements. So
it gives them the power, correct.
Yeah. Pardes, what is this doing to the treatment of the unborn in society, even if the mothers don't want or don't plan to have an abortion? I think I can't remember if you wrote an article about this or you were talking about how, I believe it's New York, that allows women now to drink while pregnant and so on and so forth. So how is this devaluing the life of the unborn, even if it's wanted life?
Well, it's treating the life of an unborn as a non-life, as a blob of tissue, and that's, I think, just an argument that has been going on for decades now. Like, if you really see the unborn as a life, then none of this would be relevant. The question of, like, rape and incest, in those cases, should abortion be done? That wouldn't be relevant because it's life. So as someone who's pro-life, I do believe that the life of a mother has value, and if a child is being a threat to the life of a mother, the unborn child, then, that's like a totally different question. If you have to save a mother's life. But when a mother's life is in danger, and especially New York laws allowing women to go into, bars and drink and not have any restrictions because of pro-choice, it's just like a huge indication of how society does not view these as lives.
Yeah, I think it was like in the 80s or the 90s. I remember it was a huge deal. They used to have commercials, "Don't drink while pregnant." They used to have these. We still have like the VHS tapes that had the old commercials on them, and it was like a big deal that the society was pushing. Don't do these things. Don't smoke. Don't drink, and all that. And now when I see, it's like a complete 180. Now you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's not a human being. Who cares? So let's try and come back to Anna. I really hope we can get a little bit better sound quality with the headphones. So it sounds like we're doing better. Okay, so just wanted to have you weigh in on the
definitely.
abortion issue. What do you think can be done in society to kind of turn this around and make people understand that this is an actual human being that you're either mutilating or you're killing or whatever you're doing?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of my ideology and how I view issues in society is government won't be able to save it. It needs to come back to the family and instilling those values when you're growing up with your children, and teaching them to value life and teaching them individual responsibility. Right now, we're very leaning towards a more amoral society and kind of this postmodernism idea that morality is relative, everything is relative, truth is relative. I think that's led to a lot of this acceptance of abortion. I think a lot of times, the left tries to look to government to save us or to try to make us moral beings. But I think it needs to start with the family and instilling these values in our children and bringing it back to the individual and teaching them that life is valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gotten to the point that I have to choose what time of day do I want to read about these horrendous things on the news, because when I think it was about a year ago that the videos about Planned Parenthood came out with the that they're selling the body parts of babies, and obviously the killing of babies is worse than the selling of the body parts, but it really drives it home that these are people. Those are the parts of a human being. I mean, for when I was like a teenager, I was a little bit more lukewarm. I mean, I thought, abortion is wrong, but I'm not like a pro-life, advocate necessarily. But when you actually see in the petri dish the body parts and they're selling them, for profit, it really, really drives it home. And anybody who's on the fence, I would highly recommend you go to the Center for Medical Progress's YouTube page and watch those videos. And if you can still continue to consider yourself pro-choice or pro-abortion after that, then I would seriously question your moral compass, because it's just impossible for somebody to watch those who believes in morality and believes in the sanctity of life, at least human life anyway, and to be able to watch those videos and turn away and say, no, that's not a human being, that's totally fine what they're doing. I think that you should be questioning yourself seriously on that. So kind of moving over to the transgender topic, I know we're really burning through all our topics today, but the feminist movement, I think, has also brought transgenderism to a forefront, with this idea that men and women are basically the same thing. They can just, if you feel like a man, if I wake up this morning and decide, I really like facial hair, that's fine. I feel like a man today, so that's totally fine. But there's a real casualty that's happening with transgenderism and this societal push for transgenders to, have the surgery. It's not even, well, let's talk about this. No, let's have the surgery tomorrow. So Pardes, you had a particularly interesting experience in New York, basically as an undercover transgender. Tell our audience what happened with that.
Well, I showed up to Columbia University with a huge sign that said, "Donate to my sex reassignment surgery," and it had like a list of all different surgeries I wanted to go ahead with, and they were like, crazy expensive surgeries to add and remove genitals to turn myself into a man. And the funny thing was, I thought it was pretty obvious that it was a joke, because I wore like a pink outfit, like a pink fluffy skirt and heels and makeup, and I didn't have hair, and I thought it was pretty obvious I was kidding. And I sat there for within 15 minutes, I got, I was just there for 15 minutes. I got a lot of people coming over donating. I think about, it it was like $11.25 within 15 minutes, which is very short amount of time.
Right.
And these people were genuine about their donation, which just goes to show that people actually see this as a huge cause, even though sex reassignment surgeries, the ones that I listed on my sign, were completely life-threatening, very dangerous procedures that someone like me, I think I look like a healthy human being, should not have to undergo to feel like myself. So it was a little bit disturbing.
Yeah, I read the article, and you said that there were actual guys that you would expect to be hitting on you, but they're saying, no, you should totally go ahead and do this. I can't imagine the depravity. These people coming up and thinking like they have some moral prowess or something by doing this, like saying, I'm going to set aside my discomfort and I'm going to tell her that whatever she feels like she should go ahead and do, and all the rest of it. I was just kind of floored by that, and also mad props to Pardes for doing that because that was totally awesome. Yeah, the piece that I really wanted to talk about in addition to that was Amanda's. She wrote about it a couple weeks ago about a man who ended up having the surgery to transition into a woman, and woke up after the surgery and realized he was still a guy. He had all the female parts, but because you can't change DNA and you can't change your genetics, he was still a guy. And I wanted Amanda to kind of talk about that and tell us how that story ended.
Right. So this was a man who transitioned into a woman, and then publicly became a kind of a transgender star / makeup artist on YouTube star, and then expressed regret after the surgery because he was a man and he couldn't fight that, and the hormones especially were compounding his depression. Eventually, this person was found dead. 30-something birthday. I don't remember how old, but he was still in his 30s and found dead in the park celebrating his birthday. So it's just a tragic story, but there's so many stories like this. There's so many people who suffer emotional damage. There's a huge suicide rate even post-transition. And then especially we see this they're preying on children now. We see a lot of people who were kind of advised to have the surgery, and then, when they grow up, they have toys on their chest, they have a toy spot, they have mutilations, and the hormones compounded their depression. And they're broken people because we're advising little kids to, whatever, my 2-year-old daughter told me he was a boy. Like, it's an unbelievable boy. But, there's just so many health problems and so many, negative aspects, contributions that come out of this that we're being totally avoided.
So, Anna, I wanted to have you talk about what. Hang on. Okay. I wanted you to talk about the problems with teaching children that it's totally okay to be, to think that you feel like I'm another gender, and so that's totally okay. You should base serious life decisions on how you feel. Talk about how that affects children.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm working on my master's in counseling right now, and transgenderism and kind of gender and sexuality is a big topic that we talk about. And one of the most prominent thinkers in the psychology world is Freud. And while a lot of people think he's kind of out there, which is somewhat true, there's a stage in life where children kind of become asexual when they're growing up to be able to hang out with their friends and kind of bond. Like boys will bond with boys and girls will bond with boys. And girls will bond with girls. And during that time, a lot of is when these kids are thinking, oh, I'm kind of feeling like I'm not sure if I'm a boy or a girl. But that's a normal stage of growth and development. And so it's kind of surprising that a lot of the psychology thinkers and people in the counseling world are thinking, that means that you must be the gender you're not. But that's a normal process to go through to kind of feel asexual or to feel like you're not necessarily a stereotypical girl or a stereotypical boy. And to do this to children before they hit puberty should be child abuse, because they're going through normal development where they're kind of figuring out, or kind of learning and socializing what it's like to be a girl and what it's like to be a boy. So to do this to kids who are like 7 and 8, who are in that stage where gender is kind of neutral at the moment, or they're not really thinking about boys and girls yet and that kind of stuff, to do that should be abusive, or it should be termed as abusive, because these kids are not going through puberty and they haven't fully understood what it is to be a man or a woman. So the idea that they can make this life-altering decision to start to pump them with hormones and to go through that process is really cruel, and it's frustrating to see psychologists and people in colleges and professors advocating for this when they should know human development and growth, and that's a normal part of human development and growth. And to make a decision that will forever alter their life is very cruel.
Yeah, especially at an age where they really shouldn't be making these decisions for themselves. Transgenderism wasn't really an issue when I was in high school, but I can only imagine somebody, as I was a bit rebellious, I'll admit, I was a bad kid on some level, but to put somebody who's going through that kind of a transition from child to adult, that's hard enough. And then to add, oh, well, you know what? You might actually have been born incorrectly. You really should be a guy or a girl, or whatever it happens to be. And it almost seems like they're pushing people into a decision that they wouldn't have otherwise made. So I do have a very special, exciting guest, and I need her to come around over here because we're having audio problems. You need to come on. It doesn't matter. Just come around here. This is Teresa, and she's coming. I need you to come around. I don't care. Just pull up. Yeah, the sound is not working. Teresa is 17 years old. She is very interested in Hollywood, and obviously it's a very politicized business that she's wanting to get into. And so she's a 17-year-old high school student, wants to be a Hollywood director and screenplay writer, and she's going to talk about how feminism affects the way women are portrayed in the media.
Okay, well, modern female TV and movie characters, excuse me, they're typically portrayed as near-perfect individuals. They are almost never wrong. Even if they make a wrong decision, it's somehow justified. They have these amazing, exceptional skills.
Now let me just dial this back just for a minute. The reason why we're discussing Hollywood is because it, especially young women, informs them in how they think about themselves and how they think about other people. So it's important for conservatives especially not to check out of the social aspect of this and the Hollywood aspect of all of this. So carry on.
Yeah, so as I was saying, so yeah, women are portrayed as these near-perfect individuals in movies today, but the most prominent trait of any female character is the warrior persona. An example would be, take Tariel from the Hobbit franchise. She's a kill orc warrior, she's a skilled healer, she's got men pining after her, and she can just beat up whole hordes of orcs and nothing. She's got a rebellious streak, but it's not seen as something wrong. She's totally justified in all she does. And A second example would be Peggy Carter from the TV series Agent Carter. She has no powers whatsoever, but she can just beat up hordes of men, and she's almost never wrong. And it's this kind of woman, this kind of character that Hollywood would like to be every girl's role model. Yeah, thank you. These female characters are they call them strong, independent women. If they meet these requirements, they're called strong, independent women. If a female character does not meet these requirements, then the mainstream critics bash her and they say, oh, she's just awful. Like recently with Suicide Squad that came out, the character of Harley Quinn, who is classically portrayed as a female in an abusive relationship she refused to get out of. They put her in the movie and they tried to make her seem kind of strong and independent, but still the critics were like, no, we cannot have this in here. We cannot have a woman who wants to be with a man or wants to get married, because they weren't upset about the abuse part. They were just upset that she wanted to get married. So, but that's a rare case. There's not very many women out there in movies, many characters in movies that the left will attack, because they all are strong and independent to them for the most part. There's barely any that don't fit into that category anymore.
So just to interject, this is kind of this war. Just to go back to your warrior point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting to it for you. So the whole idea of women taking on warrior traits, that's kind of a masculine type of thing. So are people in Hollywood taking or making women transition, as it were, into a more masculine state?
Yeah, I think that's it. They're trying to make women and men seem equal, as in they're exactly the same. Like, no, there's no differentiation. Is that a word?
Yes.
There's no differences between them. But what these strong, independent women promote is the idea that more than the idea that they can be men, but it's a false idea. So they think now girls are growing up seeing these characters thinking, oh, I can beat up a man, I can do anything a man can do. But realistically, that's not all true.
Or the reverse, oh, I can't do any of that, so therefore I'm not good enough.
Yeah,
so let me allow other people to talk too. So I wanted you guys to kind of weigh in on that kind of a subject regarding Hollywood, because, as I said before, Hollywood informs children, and especially people 18 to 30, when they're having their ideologies and their points of view formed. What do you guys see as a danger in this idea that women should have a more masculine tone? Amanda, did you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So, I guess like the warrior woman, they're kind of doing that to me sometimes. I think that doesn't bother me as much as like the regular character. So, yeah, we have like these strong women, whatever. It's like fantasy, like cares. It doesn't really bother me that much. But what we have is characters where it's that sameness again. So, for instance, men tend to sleep around, like that's kind of like the trope, and then women, feminism kind of said, we do that too, like we can do that too. So we have like No Strings Attached, Best Friends, and all these films where these women do these, just as immoral, nasty things, and it's empowering. It's like, no, I mean, that's true. It's a man works for men. Like, you don't want this sexist behavior, don't mirror it and then complain about it. So we have this, like, there's not a lot of like stay-at-home moms that are glorified on TV, or in movies, you know what I mean? It's not usually the case. They try to, there's sameness, like they're just like men, there's no difference. But the interesting thing is that movies that are more traditional usually do well at the box office compared to social justice or propaganda garbage pieces they put out. Of course, they don't care. They can do that. They can produce things with their agenda out. But it's funny that sometimes we have these traditional roles come out and they actually tend to be better. But yeah, I mean, Hollywood is important, like you were saying. That's crucial. Like these social things matter. Culture pushes politics, so it is important to talk about those things. So women's roles do, affect children or young girls.
Mm-hmm. Anna, how do you think that these kinds of roles on TV? I know you don't watch a lot of movies, but how do you think that these kinds of roles affect young girls? Kind of just bouncing off a little bit what Amanda was talking about.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of traditional roles that we see portrayed maybe in sitcoms or Last Man Standing sometimes is a one now they have, a mom who does these things. But I think a lot of it is the actors and actresses, maybe not necessarily in the film, but outside of the film and what they tell to the media. And they push a lot of these leftist ideas, and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, Brad Pitt is saying this, or Angelina Jolie is saying this, and a lot of these, Jennifer, I can't think of her name right now, but a lot of these actors and actresses push this leftism in interviews and on social media, and I think that plays just as much a role in forming the minds of people our age and younger as it does in the fields of action as well, because they have this spotlight to be heard, and they a lot of times push their agenda.
Yeah, I really wish that conservatives would not check out of Hollywood. This is just for me, that there's a reason why Hollywood targets 30 or 18 to 30-year-olds, or I think it's 18 to 45 or something like that. But especially those younger, college age types that are just coming out of high school, and they're now just starting to have adult ideas and to really solidify what they believe in. Because when I was 18, I very well could have become a liberal, except for I grew up in a very traditional home, and I was taught correctly, or traditional values, I should say. But I could have very well seen, some celebrity and said, well, they think this, and so then it must be true because I look up to this person and that kind of thing. It's just, it's unfortunate that, first of all, that Hollywood celebrities have that kind of power over people, but also that conservatives especially have a tendency to just check out of that kind of field, partially from discrimination in Hollywood, and also I think that we don't have a lot of people that have the desire to be there, like Teresa here. So did you want to finish what your little spiel was?
Oh yes, I was going to mention what you said about how it doesn't really help the insecurity. I think women would be better off seeking role models that do promote the skills that women typically are capable of. But yeah, it drives me crazy when people are not informed about the media. When they this gets off a little bit the topic, but you know what happened with Zootopia. Whenever a conservative article would come out criticizing it, people would be like, "What? I thought it was a cute movie," and I'm like, "No." And then other people see other movies, and they keep it. There can't be political messages in here. Why would there be? It's just for fun, and it's not true. There's political messages in everything.
Yeah.
And more than ever, they're shoving it down our throats now. I can't see anything without some kind of agenda seeping through.
Teresa was especially disappointed with Zootopia because I was the one who pointed out the political messaging of that movie.
I knew that they were there. I just didn't know they were harsh. I didn't know they were as harsh as you were saying.
Yeah, I was throwing the TV out the window by the time I finished that movie.
Actually, you were so mad you wouldn't say a word. I didn't say a word. I didn't want to get into a fight.
I was furious by that movie. Anyway, so the moral of the story is we really, really need to pay more attention to what's going on in Hollywood. This is mostly for the audience's sake. It's very important for conservatives to be it's important for them to be informed about what's going on in Hollywood and what kind of movies are coming out and all that kind of thing, because that's where the young people are. They're not paying attention to politics like my wonderful guests here are. It's just we need to start to infiltrate that industry as progressives do, a piece at a time, rather than saying, well, there's no way we're going to get into that. There's no way we're going to be able to infiltrate that. We should just give it up for lost. There's a whole generation lost of kids.
And I would suggest to encourage kids, if, say, they have the desire to be video editors or script writers, encourage them to pursue that and get into the mainstream media, because I see a lot of conservatives and Christians and other people saying, oh no, just stay away from it. You need to just block it out of your mind. You can't let this affect you. But then they don't care how it affects other people. They don't want to go and try to reach other people. So I would encourage people to be involved closely in the mainstream media and to present what is true and right to people instead of, you know.
Yeah, very good. Is that everything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I talked about more even.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tracy, for coming on. Okay. So. All right. So the last thing, we pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I do want to give some shout outs, but I want my guests to go first on the shout outs. I think Pardes had to leave, but let's try and keep the shout outs to all male Twitter users, since I banned them from this live stream, and I want to make amends for that.
Yeah, you always ask me this, and I always forget to look at this ahead of time. So I again have no one. So
just say your boss.
All my male followers. I have like 70% male followers. I look at my analytics.
Yeah.
So basically, all my followers.
Yeah. Anna, do you have anybody you want to shout out?
Well, if you're not following Ben Shapiro, you should probably follow Ben Shapiro. BMac0507.
Yes,
give him a follow if you want to laugh a little, and you might regret it, but try it.
You'll definitely regret it for a few minutes.
Yeah, and then.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and trying to think. Bandler's Banter. And is Harry 216 or something? I don't know.
It's Harry 126, yeah.
Oh yeah. Trying to think of other.
Daily Wire.
Oh yeah. At Real Daily Wire, definitely.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out at Sheerbecker. I am going to bring you back on the show. I'm very excited that you want to be back on, and I apologize for taking forever. I think it's at K_Lewis Thompson. Go follow him. He was also a guest on the show. Obviously at Ben Shapiro and at Real Daily Wire, because they're a really cool person running that Twitter site, and I have no idea who it is, but she's awesome.
All right.
Yeah. Trying to think. I don't know his handle off the way, but Elliot Hamilton. He's really taken down.
He's also.
leftist.
I want to have him on the show. What's
he's able to engage leftists and show why they're wrong.
Yeah, he's like hardcore. He's gonna get his law degree. Oh, it's at Elliot R. Hams. Elliot with 2 L's and 2 T's. So there you go. Pretty exciting. All right, so we pretty much covered everything. I think Pardes had to leave, but I was really glad to have her on the show because I didn't think we were going to work that out. So thank you all, my guests who came on. I'm really excited that you were all able to participate, and I apologize for the audio troubles and everything else. So
thanks for having us on.
See you guys later. Okay.